Hey everybody, I'm Captain Tommy Scribble, and you are on the lifeboat. Not only did I get your New England goodie box, I think you might have missed a show I talked about this in, but you left nothing in New England. You left nothing in New England. People, I'm not joking. Uh, you literally left nothing in New England. Do me a favor, please, and send me an email, please, and put in the subject New England, please. You know what? I did have a nice trip. I had a really, really good trip. Um, it was fun. It was cool. I did learn that my pepper tolerance is probably a little lower than it has been in the past. But you know what? When you go to these festivals, hey, Cheshire Cat, when you go to these festivals, there are a lot of things there that won't burn your face off. And there's a lot of stuff that's just, I mean, incredible stuff. The last day, hey, Pajama Pixie, good to see you. The last day that we were there, Spanx kind of went around with Johnny. Everybody in that building would like to give Johnny a couple of bottles of hot sauce. I'm not kidding. Like everybody in that building, because Johnny reviews hot sauces. And I don't know if you ever saw his reality show, but hello, Mickey Goldmill. Good to see you, man. Glad that you're here. Mick. So on the first day that you're there, they're like, "Hey, take one of our bottles. We'd love for you to review it." And there's no way we would have 7,000 bottles. So, but on the last day, you try to get as many. You take as many as you can. You put them in backpacks and bring them back so that Johnny can review them and whatever. But boy, oh boy, were we busy. So I told Spanky this morning, I was like, man, sleep in. He's doing a union gig this afternoon. So Spanks has got the morning off. Johnny is the heat king. It's funny because this is a phenomenon I've never seen. I've done a bunch of stuff with Chase the Heat, but I've never done a bunch of stuff with Chase the Heat while I was around a bunch of fans from Chase the Heat. Nobody, and I mean nobody, who's a chili head doesn't put their hand out when Johnny opens up a tube of terror. I saved people all day yesterday. The day before, I'd say, "Hey, did you eat something this morning? You got a full stomach? Oh man, you don't want to do these peanuts if you don't have a full stomach." I honestly, I had to say to him, please don't offer the big policeman any of your peanuts. And there's been, somebody said in the reality show, I think it might have been Uncle Bull Cow that said it in the reality show, but he said if Snoop Dogg hands you a doob, you probably smoke it. Then if Johnny Scoville hands you, tincture or something else, you do it. And there's probably some truth to that. Oh, my friend, good to see you. You know what? Let's highlight a bunch of people. Bayou Babe, how are you? Plant Freak, good to see you. Gamer Jackie, what's happening? Think I can keep up with this? Susie Q, Sandy Wandy, Lacey Silver, Cheryl Niles, sorry. Moni, Ben Bacon Meat Turner, Stacy Sullivan, what's happening? Sandra Harris. Sandra, if I've never said hello. Sometimes it's hard to be a woman, giving all your love to just. Sometimes it's hard to keep up. Fiona Galbraith from Australia. Good to have you here, Fiona. Matrix Rabbit, good to see you. Oh, well, I'm glad you're here, Sandra. Mischief Managed, I am glad that you are here. Sherry is acceptable. I think I like Cheryl, but I might toss out a Sherry from time to time as I age. Lacey, good to see you. We're going to a place here in town, and we'll build this up before we go, but I can't remember the exact name, but they have the name Bacon in the name of the restaurant. I was on Man versus Food at some point as well, but they have the name Bacon. As Johnny said that, I was like, I'm in. Kristen Melinda, I am glad that you are here. And do you know what, Kristen Melinda, you are You're an excellent crew member of the lifeboat. You really are. All of you are. But the other day, you said some very astute things in another chat, and I'm always so impressed when I see crew members of the lifeboat in other chats. It's there's something. Trainee Human, I'm glad you're here. Jennifer Lemke, I'm glad you're here. There's something wrong about it, almost like that's one of ours, right? Like there's some kind of a possession thing going on. I know that that's probably weird and wrong, but I really love it when I see crew members of the lifeboat, especially when they're saying really, really cool things in other people's chats. Thank you so much. You know what? It is a membership milestone. It really is. I was talking with Johnny yesterday on the way home. And I think, you know what? Neither myself nor Reese, I don't think have really, we've both tried to remind the other of the fact that this is a really big deal, but it is a really big deal. You get one right more often than every now and then, Kristen Melinda. You really do. But I remember, I know that Seventh and all the old timers, remember when I made a really big deal. Like I was sitting there and counting, right? Looking at the counter, waiting for it to go from 1,999 to 2,000 so that I could come on and say, we have thousands of people that watch the lifeboat. I did. A lovely weekend. And this is going to be a great week. Do you know why? Because we're going to make it a great week. That's why. Because we're not going to take anything else for an answer. We're coming out firing, right? This is going to be a heck of a week. I promise you this. It's going to be a very good week. But now that we have crested the 20,000, I can now say that there are tens of thousands tens of thousands of crew members on the boat. Jennifer Folsom, I'm glad that you enjoyed it. The Fiery Foods Festival was great. It really was. A really good time. There are going to be many more. We're going to be doing some stuff in July. We're going to be doing a festival. We're going to be. Is this a 5 a.m. show? I must be tripping. You know what? This is the 5 a.m. show, but I think technically, I don't think I've missed the 5 a.m. Boat in. No, I even did them on the road. You know what? I'm so glad that you're a crew member. I am so glad that you're a crew member. Tens of thousands, right? How freaking cool is that? I thought the exact same thing. Actually awake early this morning, meeting someone for coffee this morning. I know, right? What the heck is going on with you? What do you mean you're meeting someone for coffee? You know what that sounds like? Huh? Tampa Bay? Do you know what that sounds like? Sounds like you're getting out and connecting. No, that can't be. By the way, meeting somebody for coffee is just a really good thing. I might have fired this puppy up a little bit early this morning, but you know why? I was in the area and I was typing, you see, and I started to say hello to everyone. You're at 4 a.m. in Texas. You're in Texas. And it is 1 p.m. here. Oh, wow. We really, you don't even drink coffee. That's okay. You can do do you know that I literally, honestly, well, you took care of Squirrel while I was away, technically. Squirrel was eating cool things from New England while I was away. She heard her name. Actually, I had a house full of people here while I was gone. So Squirrel had probably more company than she wanted. I had guests stay at my home while I was gone. So Squirrel had a little troop to take care of it. Do 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 do. I'm sorry. This almost sounds like do 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 do. We were gonna fly. This is okay. I wanted to actually hear this. Freak. We were gonna fly to New York to board in Niagara Falls. We're gonna get the train to Chicago as my Australian girlfriend and her American husband. So base for 7 days and then train. Oh, that actually sounds like a really good time. If I were going to do, I prefer doing countries on trains. I really do. I am glad to hear that it is warming up. We fired this puppy up a little bit early today because if I'm here and the coffee's already made, it seemed like you know what? Why don't we fire this thing up early? But if you're just getting here because this is normal boat time, check this out. We'll freak everybody else out, right? Hey everybody, I'm Captain Tommy Scoble, and you are on the lifeboat. Perfect timing, right? There we go. There's a 5-0. Oh no, actually I missed by a couple of minutes. But to everybody that just got here, Scoob, good to see you. Susie Q, how are ya? Hippie Chick, Mischief Managed, Deeming. Deeming, I got off on the Deeming exit yesterday, and I was thinking of you. Grace Twinkle Toes, nice. Deaudrey Gore, Jennifer Folsom. U.S. trains are pretty crappy. You're not lying. You're not lying. We have a horrific rail system. It's not, compared to other countries, it's pretty bad. People have recently told me it's gotten better. I haven't ridden a train in a really long time, so I don't know the answer, but people have told me that it is getting better. Elle, I'm glad that you are lurking. Or Ellie, that one really. Just another Nancy? There's no such thing as just another Nancy. Fancy or otherwise, we love all of our Nancys. Sherry Rook, I'm glad that you are here. Tree hugging Buddhist, I was bragging about your coffee yesterday. Jason P, it was an honor to meet you and your wife. It really was absolutely an honor. Loved it. Tammy, I don't blame you. Lurking is a good thing, people. There's nothing wrong with a little lurking. I do more of it than anybody. Mischief Managed, also a Nancy. Excellent. Excellent. Yes, hold on a second. Not tree hugging Buddhist. Oh, this is going to go nuts now. I'm not doing it. If I try to do it now, I will shut down my entire brain. So I won't. Is Ann Hummingbird struggling? Where did I see? Oh. And I'm sorry to hear that. But please do this. And you know what, people? Everybody involved, everybody listening, please do this. We talk all the time. Thank you, Blackpool. We talk all the time about being your own best advocate, right? I, I'm sorry that you're hurting, Ann. But I love that you're saying I shouldn't feel this way. You know what? If you're not feeling right, get to the doctors. I have been guilty for a really long time of putting things off that I should not, and I'm not doing it anymore. Not. If something is up, if something's bothering me, I'm on it. I am absolutely on it. Matrix Rabbit, I'm glad to hear that. Matrix Rabbit says the pain's a little better today. I am glad to hear that. Pebbles, good to see you. Casey Key, how are you? JD, you look fantastic. See, I have to say that because all I see is a J, but I know you look fantastic. I'm bringing back the compliment. I can't tell you how many people that I complimented over the course of this weekend. I am bringing back the compliment. And just in case any of my friends, that I met out there are watching, it's such an honor to meet anybody that comes up and says, "Hey, I love what you do." That is I'm telling you, that is the coolest thing. I'm never ever going to get used to that. And I am never ever going to get bored of that. I can't tell you how cool that feels. No. How cool is that? Well, in a cute turn of events, my cat just booped my nose. I love it. I am assuming your cat booped your nose with your cat's nose. With, I don't want to say it, her or his nose. Occasionally, my cat will come up and do the face thing. You know, they're trying to mark you when they do that. Her paw. Oh, that's so much better. That's so much better. Squirrel was very, very happy I was home last night. I was a very, very happy animal. I told you that you know the drill. Unless you're brand new to the lifeboat, you know that at 3:30 in the morning, Squirrel starts like a weed trimmer, and then she just starts meowing. This house becomes an echo chamber, right? Because it's the the living room area in this house is large, and it just becomes this huge echo chamber for the cat. And she just, I mean, she can wake people 4 rooms away. But last night at 3:30, like whatever, Squirrel was just right next to me. Wherever I went, whatever I did, she had absolutely no desire to make any noise. She was just looking at me like he's going to leave again if I take my eyes off him. Do 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 do. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, I'm following a thread to see if my kitty Larry. There we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. At least I thought it. My kitty Larry always sits on me for the boat and digs his murder mittens into my legs. Murder mittens. Hey, Cosmic Christie, good to see you. I'm glad that you're here. Yes, squirrels knows it's an echo chamber. Make no mistake. Zelda, good to see you. You know what? It does help start a positive conversation, doesn't it? And I tell people this, by the way, maybe everyone could listen all at once because it will really help. I throw out compliments from time to time, you know, and I will say, who can I do this to? Because well, it's like somebody I've met in person. Tampa B, beautiful human being, inside and out. And I have had the opportunity to meet Tampa B in person. Reese, another person I've had an opportunity to meet in person. And I will say something like, you know what? You're a beautiful person. You know, you're an absolutely beautiful woman. And I will tell you something. I may get creative. I may say to somebody, you know what? I love that outfit. I love what, but I'm never gonna make something up. I'm never gonna lie to you to make you feel good. I just don't do it. So if you hear me toss one out, then chances are it's the truth. Because I'm not going to make one up to make you feel better. But you know what? If you're trying to be a kind person, it's pretty damn easy to find something to be upbeat and to be kind about. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. That went by really quickly, but someone said, it's nice to see you feeling better. There's V. V, how are you? Good to see you. V, I was talking just a few moments ago because we started up a little early, but I was talking about the good old days when we broke from the 1900s into the 2000s, and I said there are thousands of people who have watched the Lifeboat. Now I can say there are tens of thousands of people. Like old Aaron can say he has hundreds of thousands of people. That's when you start really stretching your legs. I mean, the big one is millions, of course, but it'll be a while. Johnny Scoville can say that now. Millions of people watch Johnny Scoville. Millions of people watch Johnny. That's crazy. Yeah, you know what, bye, babe. Sometimes the ones who take care of us need to be taken care of. there's a lot of truth to that. There is. Snot, I hope you're feeling better this morning. It's always a pleasure to see you. Taekwondo for life. Great to see you. I always an honor. Tumble dry low. Love that. Penelope McGowan. You know, you have always heard. If you have something nice to say, always say it. That's a, you know what? I love that. It's a great piece of advice. Sandy Fletcher, you just missed it. I've been macking on Vegemite for the last, like, what, 21 minutes and 6 seconds. Where have you been? You've been patiently waiting. Yeah. 20,000 Perth, Australia. We only have 80,000 more to go. At 80,000, actually, we have less than that because the thumbnail that you saw, we're a little over 20,000. It's funny how you pass the milestone and you go woohoo, and then the next one is in front of you, and you start looking at that one and seeing what you can do to try to make that happen. Things like collaborations and going on the road helps. There's something about road trips that really make people look at you. They push you differently. The algo pushes you differently when you're doing stuff like that. Thank you, Sarah. I really, really appreciate that. It is fantastic. Tampa B, enjoy the coffee. Have a great day. And I love that you're going out for coffee right now. Everybody catch this. I will be on My Other's Keeper with my daughter talking about dealing with autism. It will be good, an educational discussion. Can you give us a time on that? And then can we get a wrench to throw up a link for everybody so that everybody can see when and where that will be? Can you do that for me? It is early in Cali. True story. It is early in Tammy. Tammy, thoughts and prayers with you. Those are the worst decisions in the entire world. They are the worst decisions in the entire world. They really are. One of before I went to prison the last time, I told you I had a dog named Cos. He had Cosmos, huge, huge dog. It was 135 pounds. But our vet had a golden that was actually bigger than Cosmo. This guy had like a 150-pound golden retriever. It was the biggest, and it did not look overweight. It did not. He just was the biggest dog. It was absolutely massive. And I remember him saying to me, "I have to make a decision." And I said, for his work and his line of work, it had to be, really, really difficult because there's, it's like being a doctor and not being able to save a family member or whatever. But he said that the way I heard the story is I was in the store and I was shopping for my wife and I was trying to find the best of meat. We were doing something and I was requesting to the guy behind the counter. I said, do you have a porterhouse back there? And I was describing what I wanted. And I said to the guy that was ordering the steak, I said, aren't you work at you're my vet? And he said, yes, I am. And I said, yeah, I was getting steaks for me and the wife and blah, blah, blah. And I said, getting steaks. He said, this is for my dog. Because it had gotten to that part of the decision process. And he said that he was going to go home and cook his dog a steak and have like the last meal with him. And I said, oh, I'm so sorry. And he said, you know what? He said, it's been a really, really great ride. And I just would like him to go out with some dignity. And, they're family members. They really are. They're family members. Wait a second. I'm sorry. What? Hey, Kevin Hawthorne, happy birthday. People, this is a 5. It's for 5 is for Lakeland, Florida's Kevin Hawthorne. Kevin Hawthorne, please shoot me an email, right? sober@myyahoo.com, and just give me a thumbs up. I would like to do a show on you. Really would like to do a show on you. Just send me a thumbs up, please, Kevin. Kevin is one of the kindest people. Kevin is such a kind person that they literally did a spot on him and highlighted it. What we're talking about, the connection stuff, this is what he does. For all Lakeland, Florida, there's nobody in that city that doesn't know who Kevin Hawthorne is. Because he goes out and connects and is kind, and I really would love you to watch this. You know what? I really would. But I don't want to dox the poor fellow either. But it is amazing. Oh, Kelly. Thoughts and prayers, Kelly. I'm sorry. A quick prayer repress. I'm dealing with trigger finger, which sucks because it's interfering with my primary mental emotional therapy, which is crochet. Booking a doctor appointment now. Steroid injection, I'm sure. You know what, Kelly? Have you ever done any TEMS, like the electronic stimulation, where they fire little amounts of electricity through your body? After my stroke, I had trigger finger. You don't know what that is, people. It's exactly what it sounds like. If you picture like you would be pulling the trigger on something, your finger begins to do that, and it's horrific, is what it is. But I was having some real issues with it after my stroke, and they used electric stimulation. They call it a TEMS or something machine. I think it's TEMS, TEMS, but I could be wrong. It might be an N. But and I would be hooked up to this, and they would start a small amount of electrical stimulation, and then they would raise it and raise it and raise it. And over time, thank God, I am blessed that I am not struggling with that anymore. Thank you, Anik Alexander, for getting the info and setting that up. TENS. You know what, Tammy? You're the one that needs it. TENS unit. Okay, thank you. It is with an N. Thank you, people. You're the one that needs them, Tammy, but it says a lot about who you are. TENS. Okay, thank you. You have one at home. Okay. Believe it or not, they let me use one in while I was incarcerated, which absolutely blew my mind. It absolutely blew my mind. But what happened was I got to a doctor in prison, and I was having so many problems with my back that a doctor said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you on an opiate. And you just can't get an opiate in prison. I mean, no matter how badly you try to get an opiate, you're never going to get an opiate in prison unless you're dying, And this doctor was like, oh, no, I think it'd probably be, it's risen to the level where you're going to need an opiate. And I said, man, I'm a drug addict, man. You can't give me an opiate. And he said, in his career inside, he said, I've never had anybody say, I don't want it. Because I mean, even if you didn't want it, if I held it under my tongue and cheeked it, it's like $60, you know what I mean? Every single time. So it's probably not something that people say no to too often. Problem is, if they tried to catch me, I would have had to swallow it. Right. So it didn't seem like a really good idea. But when I told him no, it opened up a whole new, like they were willing to try acupuncture. They were willing to try all of these things, even though I was incarcerated and one was a TEMS machine. Because if you say to them, I don't want to get high, then they really believe you're in pain. And then they will do almost anything to try to help you treat the pain. You know what, Tammy? We love you too. Shannon Smith, says, question, I could really use your opinion on ketamine therapy. Okay. Here's what I will tell you. Here's my opinion on ketamine therapy. Here's my opinion on drug therapy. By drug therapy, I mean drugs that we have used in the past recreationally are now being used in therapy. Psilocybin, the active ingredient in mushrooms, is now being used to treat people with post-traumatic stress disorder. Ketamine therapy is also being used, as is MDMA, ecstasy. All of these are being used. Snot face, don't do anything extreme just yet. All of these things are being used in drug therapy. Of all of them, I have abused every drug out there that they're now using in therapy. Used, abused, whatever you want to call it, right? Ketamine is an analog of PCP. Okay, so if you take a lot of ketamine, you can Google K-hole, right? Google people on too much ketamine, and it will give you an idea of how strong that friggin' drug is. Now, that said, if you're doing it the way they're telling you to do it, right? If you're doing it and the doctor is working with you, the therapist is working with you, and they're spraying this up and they're doing it with a nasal spray, but whatever they're doing, it is micro dosing. It is ultra teeny amounts of it. I think that it is therapeutic. I think that they're doing amazing things with it. The problem is I could never do that. I couldn't. Now, the drug itself is fantastic. It's doing wonderful stuff for a bunch of people, right? If you happen to be someone who abuses drugs, you are in danger of any drug. You follow me? There are drugs that are harder to abuse than others. Ketamine is actually one of them, but you can abuse ketamine. You absolutely can abuse ketamine. So you just have to really work. Statement, you don't trust doctors. I struggle with that too. So if you're thinking of doing ketamine therapy and doing it on your own, I would be very, 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 very nervous about that. Just because I've done a bunch of ketamine, right? Over the course of my life, I've done a bunch of ketamine, and it is, we called it Special K, right? Or cat food or whatever. And I most often did it in powder. Toward the end of my drug career, I used to get it in liquid and you could bang it. But inject it. Normally, I would snort the stuff, and it was street ketamine, right? It was street grade ketamine. So it was not the same drug from one time to the next, to the next, to the next. Each time you got it, it was going to be different. One of the things about getting it through a doctor is you're always going to get exactly what you think you're going to get. If you're buying anything on the street right now, anything, like if you're buying ketamine comes from Mexico. That's where ketamine comes from. You can walk into a pharmacy in Mexico and buy ketamine. So anything that's coming from Mexico into the United States, man, oh man, I wouldn't go anywhere near it. I wouldn't go anywhere friggin' near it, because fentanyl is finding its way into our drug, the water system or the food system. Our drug system in the US is completely tainted. It is completely tainted. Please listen to Tommy. Don't do ketamine without medical professional monitoring you. You know what? It's solid advice. I promise you on this one. It is solid advice. Miss Lady Hummingbird, my mom switched to knitting as her arthritis and trigger finger worsened. She said it was less painful. I may give it a shot when I'm finished current projects. We'll see. You know what? I do love the idea that that's a conversation we're having, which is why I highlighted it. By the way, it's not, I haven't forgot you. Trigger finger sucks. My inability to remember the name of the person that sent me the coffee sucks. But we change and things, you become a little bit different in how you do things. That's all. And as opposed to just doing nothing, maybe change whatever art you're doing, because that's what that is. That's an art. I should have worn my hat this morning. I actually thought about it. This is absolutely what you will hear people say that it helps with anxiety and depression. And the nerve degeneration, I've not heard people say that before, but it is a very effective drug if you can take it how you are supposed to take it. That's fantastic. It really is. I get really nervous because this is the lifeboat, and the vast majority of people on the lifeboat are here because they don't take things the way they're supposed to. The drug isn't the problem. The drug is a symptom of the problem. My problem stems from some education stuff a really, really long time ago that left me feeling really inadequate and that I was less than viciously. And I used drugs to make that feeling go away. I felt drugs so that I could feel comfortable in my own skin. That was the purpose of the drugs. This is why, if somebody opens me up to something like therapy of any kind, I'm not picking on ketamine. It doesn't matter what it is. I shouldn't say it doesn't matter, because it does matter. Psilocybin, because of how you use it, it's damn near impossible to abuse. Psilocybin therapy is, you don't go in every day and do psilocybin therapy, right? You might do it 3 or 4 times a year where you actually take in the drug. Now, you're going to talk and journal and do all kinds of other stuff throughout that time. But you've been on Lyrica for so many years, says Taekwondo. You know what? And my heart goes out to you, because I've had so many nerve problems. And Lyrica is a drug called pregabalin, right? Very close to gabapentin, close in what it feels like, right? Close in how long it takes to get into your system, close in that it goes through your kidneys more than it goes through your liver, right? I'm not a doctor, by the way, people, right? I am a drug abuser. I'm talking about things from that standpoint. Now, I have used Lyrica to get high. I have. I use gabapentin to get high. Everything I used to get high. And the way that you did it was taking way more than you were supposed to. I struggled with when I got out, I actually needed treatment for nerve pain. Trouble is, just like I'm describing, anybody that starts down the road of getting ketamine treatments or anything else, if you're me, if you have a problem, right, and that problem makes you uncomfortable in your own skin, then whatever the next thing is, you're going to get addicted to. You're going to get addicted to it, right? Because the drug is the symptom, not the problem. The drug allows me to feel comfortable, right? Because I am uncomfortable. That is my default setting is uncomfortable. If I take drugs in, my default setting becomes comfort. The question becomes in everyone's life, how do we make it so that we're comfortable without the drugs? If you're doing a therapy because you feel like that therapy is going to help you move forward and become a better version of yourself or whatever, then that's fantastic. It really is. It's fantastic. But I've never seen a therapy that flips a switch and fixes people. But very often, in accordance with a bunch of other things, it's great. Sadly, people believe that the pill in the bottle is going to fix the problem. The pill in the bottle normally is something to try to treat a symptom. Therapies are great, but if you're using ketamine every single day of your life to stay happy, well, then you're now going right back to what we were, right? If we need to take a drug 365 days a year, right? That starts to, if you can take it exactly how it's prescribed, then you're on an antidepressant. But if you're buying it on the street and every day you're increasing or every 2 weeks the dose has to increase to get the same effect, right? My solid piece of advice as a drug abuser is the doctor is going to write a bunch of crap down on a piece of paper. If you're doing that the way he wrote it down, we don't have a lot to talk about. I mean, you and we don't have a lot to talk about. Whether it's ketamine therapy, whether it's you're taking this because you're in pain management. Somebody wrote me a letter the other day. 22 years they've been on pain management, right? In 22 years, they've never once finished a prescription before the end of the prescription. They never were hurting so badly that they took way more than they needed to get the pain to go away or whatever. Never. Once. You don't have a drug problem. I mean, it's unfortunate that you got to take pain medication, but there is obviously something in your life that you need to take pain medication for. And this is an unusual case. And if I mention it, I'm going to out the person because it's that kind of, but if you can go that long and you follow the instructions, you're dependent because you've been on an opiate for 22 years. I freaking promise you're dependent. But the fact that you never climbed up and never started to having, all of the symptoms that other addicts, naturally have, I don't think you got a lot to worry about, peeps. I really don't. I know that the concepts between addiction and dependency are very confusing. Okay, snot, please don't quit your job, hon. Where are you? Thank you, Andrew. You know what? JD, I know the ad you're talking about. The peanut butter M&M's ad is disturbing. It literally is. If you listen to the ad, it almost sounds like something that I'd be saying here. You're right, Taekwondo. There's really something to be said for what we don't know concerning. It sounds like an ad for heroin. What a great comment, because that's exactly what it sounds like. Andrew Garnett, thank you so much. We got a bunch of new ensigns. Thank you, Andrew. You look fantastic in green. I'm going to tell you something right now. When the lifeboat's over, I'm going to go put 2 milligrams of Suboxone into my tongue. Now, John Lewis, the guy that invented Suboxone or invented buprenorphine, they put it on the shelf. It was not a great painkiller, and it didn't get a whole lot of use until they began to mix it with Narcan. But we don't know what 35 years of being on Suboxone is going to do to somebody. 40 years of being on Suboxone is going to do to somebody, because that's about how long, right, that this has been, part of the treatment plan. There are not that many people out there that they can pull a study from. Now, you can pull a bad study all day, right? You could pull a bad study all day. You could go find 1,000 people that are on Suboxone, and you can start looking for health trouble and saying, people on Suboxone all seem to have really horrific scars on their arms, right? That's bad science, isn't it? If you were to say Suboxone makes scars develop on your arms, well, obviously everybody who's on Suboxone has scars on their arms. Well, the scars were from whatever you were doing prior to taking the Suboxone. Very often, drugs used to treat drug addiction get blamed for the scars left by the drug addiction, if that makes sense. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people who will throw the baby out with the bathwater if they find out from science that Suboxone is taking 6 years off of your life, right? I'll give you those 6 years. You can have them. But that's my personal decision. Everybody makes a personal decision for themselves. I am a drug addict who is very happy that I don't have to get up every morning and run out to try to go find a substance that literally destroys everything I care about on earth. Tommy, check TVNS. This is electrical vagus nerve stimulation, a little device that helps calm overstimulated fight or flight response, brings great relief. Okay, where do you put the sticky? You understand what I'm asking? Where do you put the lead, the electrical thing? Because this sounds freaking awesome, right? My question is, where do I put that? Where do I hook it up? Because I think that sounds absolutely amazing. Snot, I know that you are in a very frustrating time. If you know what? If you cannot do it, if you can't do it, then you can't do it. And if you have sat down and you have thought this through and you have journaled and you have done all of that, you've discussed this with your husband, right? Then walk out of there with some class and some dignity in 2 weeks' notice, right? Do what you have to do to make the right decision in your life. But it sounded like you were getting ready to say "F all you" and run out the front door, right? It sounded like you were getting ready to do the scene from all right, who's coming with me? From what is that? Half Baked, right? I'm not going to do what you think I'm going to do. Hey, CAG. Yeah, where can we get one of these units and where do you attach the thing? Because I didn't see, unless I missed that. Oh, like a headphone. Oh, gotcha. So, Snotface, if this job is not for you anymore, that's okay. That's okay. If the library's done, then the library's done. And it would give you an awful lot more opportunity. I unfortunately did not, Kirsten, but I will be checking it out today. Because of travel and passing out, I have not, but I absolutely will do that today, and I hope everybody else has. Kat Kaplan says, are there studies for long-term methadone use? Sorry, Snotface, lots of ones. I've walked out on quite a few jobs and ended up regretting some of them, but sometimes I did. And I think that's probably about how it is. But it's not, you are wildly intelligent. Unfortunately for you, I know you well enough where you can't, like, I know who you are. Sometimes when I give people advice on the lifeboat, there are people that I've not really talked to very much, or I don't know very well. You are wildly intelligent. If this is the right move, then this is the right move. I don't question anything like that. But don't do this based on emotion, because you're smart enough to know that if you quit a job, you quit it with the higher learning part of your brain. Yeah? We don't quit our jobs with our emotions. No, what do you mean hijacking this? This is the freaking lifeboat. How the hell do you hijack a lifeboat? Right? The lifeboat's supposed to be hijacked. It's the very, very design of the boat. We allow hijacking. Jennifer Folsom says, I have never regretted quitting a job. Do you know why that is, Jennifer Folsom? Huh? Because you've never quit a job without really, really thinking about it. That's why. And you didn't hijack anything, man. Stop that. Andrew, thank you for this kind of honesty. Appreciate the crap out of this. He says, I've already made the decision to never have hard liquor again, because when I drink it, there's no stopping until I pass out, blackout. But when it comes to beer, I don't have that problem. Okay. So what you're asking me is basically, do I think you need to quit drinking altogether, or is it okay for you to drink beer? Now, here's the thing. I'm a harm reduction guy, right? So if you're drinking until you black out, that's got to friggin' stop, right? That's awful. Horrific things are happening to you in every aspect of your life. If you're blacking out, there's nothing good happening. Physically, emotionally, it's horrific. Charlie, take care, please. Love you. Now, the question becomes, why is it when you drink liquor, do you not stop until you pass out? Because this is my question, and I can't answer this, Andrew. I promise. Only you can, right? Guaranteed. You're the only one that can answer this. But it has been my experience that when people drink until they pass out, there is a design. They're drinking that way intentionally. They're drinking because they love that feeling of having everything go away. My experience has been when people switch to something other than hard booze, it just takes a little while to catch up. The beer will eventually get to a point where you can drink yourself to blackout. And then this has been my experience. Again, everybody is different, but this has been my experience. Now, nevertheless, I would much rather have you drinking beer every day than drinking hard liquor every day. I mean, if that's the best we can do, I love that because it's way better for you. Okay. There's way more booze getting into your body if you're drinking a fifth of bourbon than if you're drinking a six pack. But alcohol is a poison. That's why it goes through the liver. Okay. It is also a dehydrator, like you read about. When you put that stuff in your body, it sucks every ounce of water, every cell it can. It is killing you. No matter how you're putting it into your body, it's killing you. And while I was on this weekend, I had a Corona. I ordered a beer, but I wouldn't drink six of them. I wouldn't go past three, but that's a personal thing. I don't like the feeling. Right? I like the taste of beer, but I never have liked the buzz. It's that feeling of not being in control is not a feeling I enjoy. And alcohol gives me that feeling. I feel like I can't even control my motor skills. If my motor skills are gone, then my upper function, my higher level functioning, my reasoning, all of the crap that's going on in my head probably ain't going on the way I want it to. You know what's not? We love you. And as I said, I mean this wholeheartedly. If you thought this through, if you're quitting with the part of your brain that really thinks, right? Then do what you do. I have mad respect for your upper level thinking. But don't you dare quit with your emotions, because I know you do. Right? And it's just a bad idea to quit with emotions. The worst case scenario, right? You're so pissed that you wish that you could just bomb the place off of the face of the earth. Hang for the end of the shift. You can always quit tomorrow, right? Go home when you're not bothered by the things that are surrounding you 360 degrees. Go home and surround yourself with things that make you feel good, and then make that decision, right? I mean, when you're in the middle of a room that you hate, the decision to leave that room is usually a really easy one to make, even if it's not a good one, right? I don't like the taste of beer. It's yuck for me. I prefer drinking cider myself. I don't blame you, but that's not the one I was looking for. What just happened? Oh, there it is. That's the one I was looking for. Thank you. With beer, I have one or two. When I drink liquor, it's specifically to lose control. Then I don't think you. Then this is where I will tell you, Andrew. We need to find out why you want to lose control. Right? You probably can drink beer, but there's something out there that's going to get you. Because when you drink with the intent to lose control, again, with most addicts, it's because when you lose control, you also have an entire section of whatever's going on in your life turn off. Most people who drink to the point of passing out or blacking out are drinking to forget. It's a term that comes up very often. There's something they want to forget, or there's something they don't want to think about for 4 or 5 hours. Some people will say, I just want to relax. I came on. Oh, if it was yesterday. Yeah, I think it was yesterday. Yesterday, I would have loved to have gotten high. Would have loved. First thing yesterday morning, I would have loved to have just turned off my computer for about 6 hours, 8 hours. That's why I did drugs. It made all of those things go away. Andrew, mad props for coming here and talking about this, because it's not only helping you, but it's helping a bunch of other people. This kind of honesty from people doesn't happen very often. And no one here is ever going to judge you a lick, by the way. I can literally get seasick just watching a handheld video. I bet you loved the Blair Witch Project. I understand that there are meds that people can take, makes them sick if they take a narcotic and they take the meds as a precaution. Oh, yeah. I understand what you're saying now. Yes, there are drugs that you can take that will guarantee if you take a narcotic afterwards, you're going to get sick. Yeah. Like Antabuse does to alcohol. Absolutely. There's a shot that they can give you that blocks any opiate. And if you use an opiate, you get sick. That is out there. Trouble is this. When they first started to develop this stuff, they had it down to a science, and it was a 30-day, for 30 days this worked. On a day with 31 days in the month, my friend would come over for that 31st day because he could get high for one day. Now, is he cured? I mean, he's timing his entire month and waiting on one day so that he can get wasted. I would say when they finally stop giving him that medication, he's going to go right back to wherever he was. Right? He's living for that time where he can turn off the computer. And if you were trying to turn the computer off, my brother, try to find out why. And you do that by journaling. You do that by talking to people. You do that by writing down every thought you got in your head when you get up in the morning, and everything that you got in your head before you go to sleep. It's about spending a lot of time peeling back layers of stuff to find out what the hell is going on with your life. And it's not always easy, Andrew, I promise. But what I can promise you too is this: we're not going anywhere. We're going to be here. Rexican Messler says, no judgments. I struggled with the same thing with liquor. I struggled, but I'm choosing not to drink. I respect the hell out of it. Now, I will tell you this. Dennis from Boston says, I drank to forget. Hated my job, bills up to be, 6 years sober and still have problems, but I can handle it without alcohol. Booyah. That's what I'm talking about. My problems didn't go away. None of my problems went away. Hell, I created a whole bunch of new ones. But I can handle them. I can handle them. Now, Andrew, great seeing green, my man. I love this. I really do. I love this. The honesty here inspires me daily. Thank you to all of you. We all have our stuff. I love that I can come here and know that I am not alone and won't be judged. JD, that's why I show up too. I promise you. That's why I show up. Because nobody here is going to judge me and I can work through my stuff. Yeah, if I was still not dealing with my issues and had a magic pill that kept me from getting high on my favorites, I would just find another one, being real. Yep. That's what happens. You're right. I mean, truthfully, that's what happens. Or you time it to that one day a month. But I'll tell you a story that, God forgive me. Those things that happen that you just find yourself saying, God forgive me. Here's a God forgive me one. I was working in the kitchen in Terre Haute, Indiana, with Drew Peterson, actually. And our boss decided that he was going to put a schedule of what we cooked, right, on this like a whiteboard, like a squeaky board, so that when you came in the morning, you knew what you would start to pull. It was a really good idea. It kept people from having to get with him every morning. But it required us gluing these magnetic things up. And people will walk off with a magnet in prison. They'll steal anything they can steal to have something someone else doesn't have, even if it's stupid, right? But these, the glue that they use to put this stuff up will get you high if you smell it, right? It's kind of contact cement or whatever. And I came back and there was some of the stuff stuck to my shirt, right? I had been and one of the guys said, what is that? Let me see that. And he grabs my shirt and he sniffed it and he's like, this has got, I can't remember the name of the chemical, but it's got a T in it. I can't remember the name. But he's like, this is that chemical. He goes, man, sniffing this stuff will get you high. I said, I don't sniff stuff, brother. Like I'm good. That's not a thing for me. So there's never been a thing for me. And he said, there was this bottle about this big. It's used for antihistamine tablets. They're clear, but everybody buys the antihistamine tablets. They help you go to sleep. But he gave me a clear bottle and he said, I will give you $40 if you fill this thing up with it and bring it back. Now, I wasn't doing this guy any real service to his head because huffing is really, really bad for you. But I kept bringing him those bottles until I sold him a 5-gallon bucket of this stuff in those little 2-ounce bottles or whatever. And this dude, I mean, he would huff this stuff every day, I promise you, right? Whatever makes a person want to drink hard liquor until they pass out is the same thing that makes that guy want to go in a cell with a bag and go and breathe in glue, right? And I know we go, holy crap, I would never do that. No, you wouldn't. I believe you wouldn't. But you might drink hard booze until you pass out. It's the same thing. Now, there's a lot of people out there who look for the golden ticket. I would do the kind of things that people do. Drink till you pass out. Not cocaine until you feel like your heart's going to explode and you end up in a hospital. Like, I abused everything looking for the sweet spot that was going to just let me feel normal. And when opiates got into my body for the first time, that was it. That was it. Right? End of the ball game. That fast. I'm ready to go. That is the substance I was looking for. That was the addiction. That was the thing that was going to allow me to feel comfortable in my own skin all the time. And trust and believe I was going to do it all of the time. Miss Lady Hummingbird, it is an honor to be a part of your life. And I hope that you have a fantastic day. A question for everyone who has managed to quit something. Do you find yourself so much more emotional? I seem to well up with emotions almost to the point of tears. Never used to do that while on booze. I'm not laughing at you, trainee human. I'm laughing at me. But yes, and everybody finds their emotions whacked. Now, that don't all take on the same symptom, right? Some people may never cry again, right? Some people could only cry in their beer, but your emotions are going to be cooked. And do you know why? Because you haven't used them. If you turn off your emotions for, let's say, just for the sake of argument, you drank every day for 10 years. Okay, you did not have a normal emotional palate for 10 years. You know, pal, you're going up and down, you're happy, you're sad, you're, everything in between. You don't have that. Each time you would be getting a little depressed or a little bummed out or a little happy or whatever, you continue to drug yourself, right? Well, now that you get sober, don't use me as an example. 3 decades later, I turn my emotions back on. Okay, when did you turn them off? 14 years old. So what's my emotional age? My maturity level is at what? 14? I mean, honestly, emotionally, we don't continue to develop. When we stop using those emotions, we stop using them. They get stunted. And then when we turn them back on, we turn them on. JD says, I cry at the drop of a dime over everything, good, bad, anything. People comment about it, but I have learned to appreciate it. You know what, JD, I love you. I'm that person. You people have seen it here. Yeah, I remember this. I believe I had a Twilight example a couple of weeks ago about a CGI wolf that made me cry. I remember you saying this, Snotface. Trainee human, you may have missed that, but Snot said the exact same thing. She said, you know what? I'm such a wreck that a CG animated werewolf just made me cry. There are stories I just can't tell. Like, there are really phenomenal stories I would like to tell on the lifeboat, but I will sob so hard that I won't get through. I am an absolute emotional cripple, but I don't care. I hung out with Tampa Bay, Bev Tampa Bay we were together seconds. I cried. We got into a conversation about something, and I was crying. I'm an emotional cripple. Well, I do not have the ability, and no one else does. Don't feel like this is going to be different for anybody else, because this is going to be the same for all people. So, and I don't think you need to. I'm glad that you're open and asking these questions, because again, if you're not coming and you're not hanging out with people who are going through the same things, right? Then you don't know whether or not what you're going through is normal or not. Training human, what you're going through is completely normal. However, I don't think it's going to get better overnight. I think I think that Susie Q probably sums it up, right? You're gonna get used to it. That's what's going to happen is you're going to get used to it. Um, I'm sorry, but it's the truth. I don't know what FMA is, but oh, crying gives you migraines. Please don't cry then. Um, Sip Chat says I let it all hang out. I do too. Oh, gotcha. Excellent, 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 excellent. Thank you, Jason P. 8 months. Um, yeah, you're gonna meet Jason P. I promise everybody. Nicola, 90 days sober. Do you know what? I'm not even joking. I should get up and run and go get that trophy out of the office. Here's what I will do. 90 days, Nicola. Tonight you better be here because I will have the participation trophy out here. Pretend this is brass, would you, Nicola? Congratulations. 90 days sober is epic. Even Squirrel is really enthused about it. As you can see, she even opened an eye. Yeah, good for you, man. Good for you. That is awesome. It really is. It's awesome. And I never get tired of hearing it. Hey, Lisa, do you see? Yeah, I know I forgot them on the trip. And I thought they were in the car. And I spent all this time looking for them. I remember putting them in the car. I honestly remember putting them in there, but I didn't because when I got here, they were on the desk. But I have always been this way, utterly affected. In any situation, everyone looks at me to see if I'm crying yet. Boy, we're a pair, huh? I love it. I love it. All right, Archie's mom. Peace out. Oops, that's the V one. There you go. Yeah, you know what? Keep rocking it, Nicola. Keep rocking it. Rick Spicer is celebrating 4 minutes of calm. I don't know that I've had 4 minutes of calm. Natalie on Life After Cult talks about her traumatic emotions were to her after being suppressed for so many years in the cult of Scientology. Really touched my heart. Thank you, Kelly. Um, I don't know that I've seen that, but I am going to go and check it out. V says, I'm always calm. You got to love that. You got to love that. That's my sister. Yet still, she has not taught me the always calm technique. I wish I was. I'm getting a little bit better at it. I really am. I'm getting a little bit better. Casey Key says, make it a great day. You know what? That's one of my favorite expressions. It's one of my favorite expressions. Um, Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Do you see this? I think when I cry over the beautiful things in life, it's because I'm so glad to still be alive. When I cry over horrible things, it's because I feel guilty that I can't do more to help. That actually makes a lot of sense. It really does. That actually makes a tremendous amount of sense. Peggy, thank you. Appreciate it. And you are appreciated as well. All right, people. Went a little long today. Do you know why? Because I can. That's why. That's why. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville. This beautiful girl right here. This cat in the basket. That's Squirrel. Squirrel, not Zip Zip. An absolutely amazing kitty cat. Aren't you? Who's your good girl? Get some noise? Want to say hello? No? Who's your good kitty? All right, people. I will see you on the next one. God bless.